All right. So
I
one
don't
one
support
woman said
billionaires,
on
bro.
yeah, she said, "Black women, why are you so mean?" And I'll post hers. And then one woman responded, said, "You, why are you so mean? Who's the sweet? Who we? The sweetest women in the world to me have been black women. The ones who one loved me, prayed for me, fed me, looked out for me in my absence. Also me. I love black women myself. Stop generalizing when black women get killed who start marches. Girl, bye."
What? Oh, like I read through this thread that you gave to all of us, man. It seemed like the people that had the most hate in their comments felt it to be a personal attack, which means they must have been told that they've been mean, or they feel as though that they've been mean in their life. So it looked more like projection than anything, bro. It wasn't really a response to her. They just used her comment as a pivot so that they can argue how nice of a person they are, or how nice black women in general are, when all women of all races have nice or mean women. It's just is what it is, bro. I, I don't understand what the point of this whole thread was, to be honest with you.
I didn't understand the point of any of it, and I've been trying to figure out for the longest. Doris said she was gonna come or try to come, but I and
To
maybe
explore.
it was a young lady to like kind of give the insight on what would make a woman do this to another woman for no reason at all. Like it's really unwarranted. Never met them. They just asking questions, and it's gotten to the point not to just exclude pick on black women, but it's like you can't correct anything a woman does without it being hateful, malicious, misogynist, pick me. Excuse me. For those who don't know what pick me is, like rooting for men to an unhealthy amount, and a bunch of other stuff that comes along with it. And somebody said in one of the lines, it's just trauma. But to me, that doesn't make much sense because the average person now grows up in just a female household. So you don't really have much interaction with men overall. Like we know women get raped and molested and all that, but generally speaking, you don't really have much interaction with men till you get to school, when you start liking boys and all that other stuff, and you really can't consist what boys do to what men do. So the only interaction you really have with men, if you don't have your father, are the women, are the men your mother introduces you to. So I'm trying to hear everybody's theory on why they think women just come off so hateful or mean to other women. Let's start with you, Jarvis.
Well, I might have to agree with Faheem. Like it's a projection thing because reading those threads, they were kind of just using those like the thread itself as a jumping off point, like he said, to prove either why they weren't mean or why black women in general weren't mean. And when you're on the internet, like everything is boiled down to generalizations of everybody's stereotypical, racial identity. So if you're going to say black women are arrogant, mean and stuff like that, they're they're going to pull the trauma card because that is all they see when when they get on the internet, because everybody's boiled down to their stereotype. So basically, when a black woman gets on the internet, she's being called aggressive, arrogant, and all of this stuff from everybody else in their peer group. So if you get on TikTok and you see, all right, a whole for you page where they're like, let's shit on the black women today, or let's steal things from the black women. Then you go to Twitter and you see people like, oh, you're a pick me if you agree with men or something like that. You get on Facebook and it's like, hey, black women, you're kind of mean today. Like y'all kind of turned up on us today. It's no, there's no repos for anybody to say, oh, black women, you're killing it, except in the media where they're like, oh, black girl magic, when it's, when they're mainly talking about the celebrities who are at the top of their field. So if that's what they're going through, then they're they're like, well, all we're being shown as is mean. So we gotta go hard in the other direction to show how we're not mean, and anybody else calling us mean, well, why do you have that Why do you have that misconception, or why are you addressing it in such a way instead of trying to, talk to the black woman who you see as mean and tell them how you feel instead of just getting on the internet and saying, yeah, I agree, all black women are mean.
But it was
So
another
it's
black
coming
woman who
from,
said it though. It was another black
yeah,
woman
it
who
was
said it,
a
and it
black
doesn't
woman who
count.
said it. It's a black woman who said it because she's looking at it from her standpoint. But when you have basically when you get on any internet website and everybody's saying the same thing, like, why are black women mean? If a black woman says, hey, why are black women mean? You're like, hey, this is kind of like the family's business. We're not mean, so you need to quit saying that to the general public. So it's kind of like that thing where everybody jumped on Monique because she said something about bonnets, and you might not feel bonnets are unattractive out in public. You may feel bonnets are unattractive in public, but the fact that Monique said something about, quote unquote black culture and saying it's unacceptable for us to be like that, that's where the response came in, where everybody is generally negative towards her. So
But,
if a black woman is saying,
all that's saying is that they've been pushed or projected to a point where they can't be corrected or accountable for their mistakes. Because you're just talking about the aspect of why the woman asked, why are black women so mean? But if we switch it to Lex's wife, what was the purpose in them making those comments? Because all it does is project it to what the woman asked. It stands firm. If you look through the comments, it's mainly minority women in general. I didn't really see too many Asian women. I saw maybe Latino or Latinx women and black women making the comments. There was a lot. I'm not going to say it's just one sided. There was a lot defending her, like, highlights, who's trying to run to get highlights done every other week. Y'all know how this goes. Y'all just being hateful. Y'all being haters. Like, why would you say this about somebody's wife? Like, there was a lot defending her, but there was so many more who were just trying to bring her down. And I'm like, are y'all mad because she's light skinned? Like, if it was a dark skinned woman, would y'all have done this? Like, you can't say you're not mean or hateful when you turn around and do something like that. And to be honest, a lot of the comments transcended between both of them. And Lex can prove that a lot of them was on one and was on the other too. And this is just one instance. There's a lot of instances where I see they're just hateful and rude and mean to each other for no reason, for a difference of opinion at the minimum. And what makes it even worse is that they don't be on men's side either. They just be hateful towards everyone. So it's like, at least if y'all were going to stand in a group, stand collected, they'd be okay. At least have some inner reflection